Hello and welcome to TitleTown Throwdown. I am Nick LeBlanc. Thank you so much for joining me here on Thursday night. A lot to get to, not a lot of time to get to it, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This man, right here, Alex Cora, he is back as Red Sox manager officially. The hiring came down last Friday, and ironically enough, we were talking about this last Thursday and how it was really down to both Sam Fuld and Alex Cora, according to Ty and Bloom. And John Hammond said that it was Bloom's decision to make at the end of the day. Now, I said this on Sports World Weekly last week with Matt Jolies, and I explained this to him, and I'm going to explain it again to you all right now. Best move for the Red Sox, was it Alex Cora? Yes. Yes, it absolutely was. However, if you think that this move was all Bloom's decision, you are wrong. Okay? Because we know how much ownership loved Alex Cora when he first came in here because Dave Dombrowski brought him in here. Now, again, I'm still pretty sure that ownership kind of went to the rest saying, hey, give our guy a shot. You know, he doesn't work out. Boom. But I think Dombrowski did like Cora anyway from the beginning, so I think that's besides the point. But anyway, though, if you really look at it this way, and you can look at it as a number of things too. A, you have probably the best manager in the history of the Red Sox back in Alex Cora. I mean, come on, the guy won you 108 games in 2018 on your way to a World Series title. That one right there in 2018, I have that banner. It hangs proudly on this wall. So, there's that. 2, we all know what happened with Cora in Houston. And that's something that he didn't really get a lot into in his introductory press conference, or as we should call it, re-introductory press conference on Monday at Fenway. But one of the takeaways I took from Alex Cora's thing was this. He was open and honest about his mistake. He didn't sugarcoat it. He knew what he did was wrong, and he knew that he was home for last season for all the wrong reasons. Now, again, all those reasons are reasons why Alex Cora probably should not have a job today, but he does. Now, a lot of people have disagreed with AJ Hinch getting a job and Alex Cora getting his old job back. Not many managers get their jobs back, by the way, okay? Now, a manager can go back and manage a team, whether it's for a different organization or he's a coach, say like an infield coach, a third base, first base, whatever. The fact that Alex Cora, a manager who was going to be the manager in 2020, keyword was, him and the team mutually parted ways. Now, you can look at it saying, well, why do they part ways if they're just going to bring him back? They could have just said, here, go sit in the corner for 60 days, 60, 70 days, however long the baseball season was. Doesn't matter. Not important. So, you do that, and you have this thing. Alex Cora is back after his quote-unquote timeout. But the fact that the Red Sox went through the entire interviewing process, the entire plucking guys from the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Pirates, the Marlins. I don't think the Cubs, but just throwing them in there as an example. You branched out to all these different guys, letting them think that they had a chance at the managerial position. You did the same thing last offseason before you eventually named Ron Rennie the intern manager and then the full-time field manager. Then you canned his butt literally the day of the last day of the regular season. It made no sense. You know, if you knew John Henry, if you knew Tom Warner, Sam Kennedy, if you knew that you're going to bring Alex Cora back, why'd you fire him in the first place? You could have just said, here, go sit in the corner for 15 minutes in timeout till you think about what you did. You tell Rennie, hey, you're the intern manager this year. Doesn't matter how bad the season goes. You're the interim guy. Will get you, promote someone within who's going to be the quote unquote interim bench coach. Roll through the season with that, and then bada bada bing, bada bada boom. Problem solved. You're not wasting all these guys' time of going out to bring a guy to rehire someone. Just, if you're the Red Sox, look, bring back Alex Cora is a good thing. It's the best thing that they could have done. But the fact that they brought the man back in here after everything back, I'm okay with it. Maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I would have been like, maybe not, maybe yes, no. But anyway, though, you want to say this in the fact that it all comes down to this, too. If you are the Boston Red Sox, if you are the Boston Red Sox right now, you have to question, why didn't you just say, after his suspension is up, Alex Cora is going to remain the manager of this ball club? Why go through the entire exhausting process of bringing a guy in from here, bringing in a guy from there, knowing that they're not even going to come remotely close or gain a sniff at the managerial position? You knew you were going to bring back Cora. Everybody knew it. It was just a matter of when you were going to contact him. Now, look, again, I'm not against the hiring. I love the fact that Alex Cora's back. I think he is the best option for this team. You basically gave him his contract back, the one that he had, and he lost, and you just said, here, we saved it for you. Because Cora, for 2020, had 2020 and 2021, with options for 2022 and 2023. What's his contract look like right now? Oh, 2-year contract with 2 option years. It's the same contract, just you added on a year. You added on a year because you lost a year with him. Now, again, that's Cora's fault. It's not your fault. It's Cora's fault for why you lost the year with him. But then you just go right back and add on that extra year saying, oh, yeah, no, here's your old contract back. You wasted 9 people's time. You wasted the Yankees bench coach time. You wasted Sam Folds' time, who I wouldn't leave out of the conversation. He could potentially come in as a bench coach. You never know. And that might not be a bad thing either, because Sam Folds is only 3 years removed from the game. So that might be beneficial. So Sam Folds' name should still be floating out there somewhere as a bench coach option for the Red Sox, but that's besides the point. But you wasted Carlos Mendoza's time. You wasted James Roman's time. You wasted so many people's time to either fly out to Boston to interview with you in person or have someone hop on a 15 to 20 minute Zoom call from their house to interview for a vacant managerial position. You wasted realistically a whole month and maybe a week of your managerial search until the World Series ends, and then a week goes by and Alex Cora is suddenly your manager again. And they want you to believe the narrative that it was Bloom's decision. Now, in the introductory press conference for Cora, neither Warner or Henry were present. Sam Kennedy was present. Brian O'Halloran, the assistant general manager, was present. Bloom was present. That's all you got from upper management. You didn't see Henry or Warner. Neither of those two were there. So they want you to believe the narrative that, yeah, it was Bloom's decision. Bloom wanted to bring Cora back. I'm not sold on that. I really think that ownership kind of did a push, nudge to Bloom. Said, hey, can you give our guy a chance? Because you never really got a chance to work with him. You talked to him for about 3 months. Then he got suspended. And now we want you to actually legitimately work with him again. So maybe that did cross Bloom's mind. That's saying, I didn't get much of a chance to work with this guy. I talked to him last off season, and then we had the whole suspension thing, and interview other people. And look, the Astros and Mets thing was different. AJ Hinch was going to be the manager. They fired him. They had to go out and hire a new guy. The Mets, they hired Carlos Beltran. He had to resign before he even managed an official game, let alone a spring training game. He had to quickly hire a new guy to fill in the void. Now you're rolling with that guy for the Mets. And for the Astros, you're rolling with Dusty Baker. With the Red Sox, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know what you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know what you were going to do for a manager for 2020. You didn't know if you were going to bring a whole new guy or just promote Ron Rennke, which you ended up doing. Kept it simple, but the players didn't like him for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother can of worms. But then you just say, like, no, we're bringing back our man. We're bringing back our man. But they say that everyone deserves a second chance. And indeed they do. Indeed they do. They deserve a second chance. And Alex Cora deserves that second chance. All right. Now that the managerial situation is officially solved and put to bed for now, what are the Red Sox offseason moves like? What are they like? We'll tell you right after this. You are listening to TitleTown Throwdown here on all SFBN RI networks. And welcome back to TitleTown Throwdown here on all SFBN RI networks on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and all platforms. The last one's drawing a blank to me. But either way, though. So, as I mentioned before we took our quick timeout, the whole Alex Cora situation is over. The managerial search is done. It's over with. All right. Woohoo! Yay! Let's look at the actual roster right now. And there's some rumors going around that the Red Sox are interested in Francisco Lindor. They're interested in possibly JT Realmuto, who I'll get to in a second. They're linked to some bats. They're also linked to Trevor Bauer, who is an arm. You need an arm. Forget the bats for a minute. Forget the bats, okay? And I'll tell you this. Red Sox fans, if you want Francisco Lindor, get that out of your mind right now. It's not going to happen. You don't have the assets to get Francisco Lindor, and I don't think you want to take away from any of the good Major League talent that you have right now. And Devers, Bodards, Martinez, Vasquez, and the list goes on. You don't want to get rid of those guys. Don't trade those pieces. But you're also trying to rebuild your farm system a little bit. You don't know what any of these farm guys are going to do now because, well, they missed a year. So that's that. So Francisco Lindor, get him out of your mind right now. JT Realmuto we'll get to in just a minute. But Trevor Bauer, though, it's a long shot. It's a long shot, but it's something that the Red Sox should really try and to pursue. Because right now, your rotation, your top two guys, to start the 2021 season is going to be Eduardo Rodriguez and Nathan Eovaldi. And then you got Chris Mazza. You got these schmucks from Pawtucket, or I should now say Worcester. They're now officially known as the Worcester Red Sox. So you got these guys from Worcester that are unproven yet. They can't pitch at the major league level. They belong in the bullpen. You don't know when Chris Sale is going to come back. Okay, right now, estimated Chris Sale to be back maybe around June or July of next season. But you're going to throw him in the rotation? We'll get to Sale in a minute. I'm telling you this right now, though. Red Sox fans are open to that. You can trade Chris Sale. No. Get that out of your mind right now, too. You're not trading Chris Sale because no one's going to want to take Chris Sale. All right? So that's that. Get that out of your mind. It's not going to happen. Now, the Red Sox seriously need to pursue some arms. It's a major thing that they do. Try to go out and get yourselves an arm. Because the rotation last year was just atrocious. The bullpen, atrocious. Now, you won that trade with the Phillies with Brandon Workman and Heath Henry because I think it was Heath Henry who's now a free agent. Workman is a piece of work himself. Anyway, though, the Red Sox really need to start hitting on some pitchers, whether that's a bullpen piece or a starter. And you desperately need that rotation because I am absolutely scared of this rotation heading into 2021. Now, if you can go out and get yourself a Trevor Bauer, go out and get yourself a John Lester who will be a good number 5 starter who will be a free agent. You can Bloom. Fix that boo-boo the Red Sox made 6 years ago when they traded John Lester to the Oakland A's and then he signed a 6-year contract with the Chicago Cubs in the offseason of 2014 and spent all of 2015. So, fix up that boo-boo right there. Look, you only had to bring John Lester in for a year, okay? And he's going to be a number 5 starter, and he's capable of giving you 5 innings. Okay, he's capable of giving you 5 innings. Nathan Eovaldi is not a top 2 starter. No, he's bottom 2. He's a bottom 2 starter, so put Eovaldi at number 4. To start the season, maybe have Chris Mazza in that number 3 spot, or Tanner Hoke, who blew everybody's mind away in the last in the last 3 weeks of the regular season, and he pitched well. He pitched really, really well. I'll admit that. Can he maintain that? I doubt it. To start out anyway. Long term, maybe. But to throw him right in the fire, though, it might not be the worst decision either. That's where Chris Sale comes in, okay? And say you do miraculously sign Trevor Bauer. Bauer's your number 1. Go Bauer 1, Rodriguez 2, Hoke 3, Eovaldi 4, and then John Lester number 5. So I'm saying, hypothetically saying, the Red Sox sign John Lester and they sign Trevor Bauer. 2 of your 5 spots locked and loaded, and then 2 other locked spots in Rodriguez and Eovaldi. That just leaves 1 spot open for either Tanner Hoke or Chris Sale when he is eligible to come off the disabled list. Now, with Sale, it's an interesting thing because Sale, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. We don't know how well he's going to look. We don't know if he's going to be the same pitcher. Probably not right away. Now, I get it. You know, you're paying the guy $35 million roughly a season to play. What are you going to get out of that, though? Do you want to throw Chris Sale in the starting rotation and have him go 3-4 innings per start, knowing that you're not going to get a 7-8 inning outing out of him until 2022? Or do you want to put Tanner Hoke in there who can guarantee give you 5-6 solid innings, saves your bullpen, and you can have a nice methodical bullpen right there. Put Chris Sale in the bullpen where he can be a long reliever or a mop-up or pitching a mop-up type of role. So that way you're not putting stress on Chris Sale's arm. You're not putting him in stressful situations. Unless the game is out of hand and you really need to save the bullpen. That's what Chris Sale should be used for in 2021. Now I get it. Nick, he's being paid all this kind of money to be the ace of the staff. Well, guess what? He's not going to be the ace of your staff in 2021. You'll be lucky if he'll be the ace of the staff in 2022 when he should be fully healthy and recuperated from Tommy John surgery, because it is roughly an 18-month to 24-month injury recovery time. But Chris Sale got the surgery in March of this year, right? So, from late March, I say it was March 22nd he got the surgery, to now, which is April 12th. He's already gone through nearly 8-9 months of recovery. He's probably not going to start pitching a baseball again until about maybe March or April. So you're not going to see Chris Sale pitch at all in spring training. You'll be lucky if you see that. But he could start throwing at some point in maybe April and May. He goes on a rehab assignment in June and July. You bring him up for August. So you bring him up in August. So right there, you have Chris Sale for 2 solid months of the season to see where he is at and able to see and put him in a game time situation. Now, again, bullpen would be perfect for him. Bullpen would be absolutely perfect for him. Put him in the bullpen, not in a huge stressful situation. Bing, bang, boom. You see what you got out of Chris Sale, see where he is at in his recovery and how many pitches he can go. Obviously, Chris Sale should be on a pitch count. 50 pitches maximum. Max. 25 minimum. So if you can get him within that range, he's pitching 2 to 3 innings out of the bullpen to help your bullpen when, say, a guy like Evaldi has a rough outing and he only goes 2 innings. And you bring Sale out of the bullpen for the 3rd inning. You're Alex Cora to say, hey, Chris, I need you to give us 2 to 3 solid innings here. He'll be able to do it. You say you got about 50 to 60 pitches to work with, and then after that, you're going to get taken out. For Chris Sale, that's fine. And if you're Sale, if you can go 3 innings, maybe a 4th just to extend it or start an inning, you already helped out your team because you saved the bullpen from having to use multiple arms. So that way, if you're winning the game, you can go to the setup option, then you can go to the closer option. Now, again, we don't know who the Red Sox closer is going to be or the setup guy. You can't trust Matt Barnes in that situation. I don't know who you can trust in that bullpen, honestly. You need to get yourself a bullpen piece, preferably a legitimate closer, a legit closer. So you can do something with that, either which way. So, but that's besides the point, though. The presence of the offseason for the Patriots, for the Red Sox should be this. Pitching, and more pitching. Get arms. Now, I said I was going to rally back to JT Realmuto. I am doing that right now very quickly. Chances of Mitch Moreland coming back here are very slim. If he does, great. If he doesn't, oh well. I think the Red Sox should still be able to roll with, say, Michael Chavis at second base, and then Bobby Dahlbeck at first base, and then on the other side of the infield, Evers and Bogarts, who have been playing in those positions since 2017. So you're solid with that right there. But the one thing, though, that the Red Sox could use is a versatile catcher. I love Christian Vasquez. I love him to pieces. I just don't think Vasquez is that kind of versatile guy because I've seen Vasquez play third base and first base. He's uncomfortable in both positions, mostly third. I don't blame him for being uncomfortable on third base. That's a tough position to play at. First, I'm a little shocked by that he's a little uncomfortable playing there, but that's okay. That's fine. JT Realmuto, he is a fast power hitting catcher. Keyword fast. You don't really say that many with catchers. Most catchers, they have decent speed, but they don't run well. Realmuto can run, he can hit, and he's versatile. So you can have Christian Vasquez catch, and then you have JT Realmuto play first base. Simple. And then if Vasquez needs a break, which he ultimately will, you got JT Realmuto who can catch, and then you can put Bobby Dahlbeck in at first base, and you can still put Dahlbeck. You can still move Dahlbeck around the lineup a little bit. So say if Jackie Bradley Jr. doesn't come back and Andrew Benintendi's not ready to start the season, you can put JT Martinez out in left field where he's comfortable, and you can have Bobby Dahlbeck as a DH, or you could get Dahlbeck to try to figure out left field. Good luck with that one. But there's so many options that the Red Sox can use here. There's so many options that the Red Sox can go here. And it's very interesting, too. So I think that's one thing that the Red Sox really have to watch out for. Get a versatile type of guy like JT Realmuto who can hit, run, and play multiple positions. And that's one thing that could really help out the Red Sox. All right. Did you see that Patriots game on Monday? Oh, boy. Was that a doozy? And tell me, Patriot fans, how was your heart level throughout that fourth quarter? We'll break down that game and then preview the game against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. Coming right up next, you're listening to TitleTown Throwdown here on all SFBN platforms.
Jets have a timeout left if they want it. Folk on the way, and it is good. With zeros on the clock, Nick Folk. The field goal from 51 yards away, and that's how the Jets fall to 0-9. And the Patriots fight on for another day.
So right there, you see that you saw that the New England Patriots finally ended their 4-day losing streak against the New York Jets. On the Nick Folk game winning field goal, the Patriots are now 3-5 on the season. Finally, they have 3 wins. They finally got 3 wins. But tell me, though, this was your reaction, though, when you saw the Patriots down by 10 points again to the New York Jets in the second half. Yeah. Waiting for something to happen. You had to be. I was. Because you look at how the Patriots started that game. It wasn't pretty. Giving up big plays, cannot get off the field on third down. Again. And letting Joe Flacco light you up all over the place. Joe flippin' Flacco. Joe Flacco. Like, really? You're gonna let that guy light you up who hasn't been a consistent NFL starter since Lamar Jackson took his job 2 years ago in Baltimore? Really? Joe Flacco? Oh, God. The only benefit the Patriots had in that whole game, mostly in the second half, was ball control, and the Jets just literally shot themselves in the foot. Because here's the thing. The Jets ran only 12 plays in the second half. Total. They only had 4 plays in the fourth quarter. 4. 8 of the 12 plays came on their first possession in the third quarter, after the Patriots marched down the field and scored a touchdown. What else do you need to see to make this Patriots team concerned by you? I'm concerned still, despite the win. Oh my God, that was such an ugly win. That's a loss instead of a win, because the defense still can't get off the field. The offense is still, Josh McDaniels is still making boneheaded calls, if you think about it. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get from the Patriots, especially Cam Newton. It's either the Patriots are clutching on all cylinders for one series, and the next series they just completely crap all over themselves. It's like, what is this? What are we watching? And look, this win is momentum heading into Sunday night against the Ravens. And the Ravens, they haven't looked all that good offensively, so that should benefit you as a defensive unit. That benefits you as a defensive unit. Now look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a great comeback win for the Patriots, a big momentum boost, and a confidence boost for them. Because the Patriots, they evidently saved their season on Monday night. The Jets are done. The Jets are out of it. No, the Jets are 0-9. They're not going to the playoffs. They're out. They're eliminated. Not officially, but not. Okay. The Jets are not formally eliminated. Mathematically, though, they're out. The only way the New York Jets can make the playoffs at 7-9 is if everybody loses and finishes 6-10. Every one of the teams ahead of them, 7 through 15, finished with under 6 wins. And the Jets finish at number 7 at 7-9. Now, granted, they're going to get their absolute butts handed to them by either Pittsburgh or Kansas City or whoever the hell they play in the playoffs. But no, Jets going to the playoffs, forget about it. That's out the window. The Patriots made it into the playoffs, however. Possible. Absolutely 100% possible. Because again, yeah, your coach is Bill Belichick. Your quarterback, though, is not Tom Brady. It is Cam Newton, who hasn't been effective in 2 years. Still not being effective. Although Cam has had 2 back-to-back really good games. We haven't seen that since weeks 1 and 2 of this season. If you can get that Cam Newton, game in and game out. Now, credit to Newton, he did not turn the ball over once on Monday night. He didn't fumble it. He made better reads passing. Cam Newton is very accurately passing the ball on Monday night. It was great. Now, if Cam Newton starts to get those touchdowns up there and surpasses interceptions, or at least get to 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, at least makes his turnover differential at par. All right, and maybe sprinkle in a couple more rushing touchdowns here just to get his touchdown to turnover ratio in the right direction. Because right now it's in the wrong direction. And as much as I love Cam Newton running the ball, it's fun to watch. He needs to pass it a little bit. And maybe these receivers can start running around the ball a little bit and get Cam Newton that kind of, I don't know, a passing touchdown. Now, granted, the Patriots, they can start passing a little bit too when they get down to the goal line. You don't always have to run it in with Damian Harris or Rex Burkhead or Cam Newton. You don't have to. If these guys are capable of catching the ball Have him catch the ball. Even if it's just a 1 yard, even if it's a screen on the 3-yard line, all it takes is a split second to find a hole and you're in the end zone. That's it. It's a passing touchdown. Now, whether that falls on Josh McDaniels, whether that falls on Cam Newton, audibly at the line, one of the two. Now, again, you can say, well, it was the Jets. They're notorious for shooting themselves in the foot. True. But it's a game the Patriots should have lost. Again, it's a loss inside of a win. You will take the win if the Patriots won that type of game with Tom Brady, like, oh, well, it's never really in doubt because we had Tom Brady and the Jets stink. Well, the Jets stink, but you don't have Tom Brady. There's a novel thought. Yeah, you still got Bill Belichick. And it's still the Jets who are absolute garbage. But you don't have Tom Brady. And though Tom Brady got his brains beaten in the night before by the Saints. So, there you go, last week was probably a good week for Patriot fans and Brady haters. Sunday night, you saw Brady got his absolute brain beaten in by the Saints. Monday night, you saw your Pats come back from 10 points down and win a football game. Finally. So it was a good week for Patriots / Brady haters up here in New England. Now, let's go this route now, too. So now we got to preview the Baltimore Ravens, and the Patriots are playing on a short week. The Ravens defense is going to be tough to beat. But are you really scared of that Ravens offense right now? The Ravens have had a hard time scoring a lot lately, and that has a lot to do with either better play calling of containing Lamar Jackson and forcing Jackson to throw the ball more, who evidently cannot throw the ball accurately. And one thing that Lamar Jackson does not think about that should be a benefit to the Patriots is that when he gets down in a game, especially late in a game, he relies on his arm more than he does his legs. And this is one thing that I think Lamar Jackson doesn't really remember a lot. He can still use his legs to extend the play and allow a receiver to get open. At the very least, just get out of a sack. When put under pressure, Lamar Jackson freezes. And that should be good for the Patriots. If it's 3 points, it's not going to do any good. By 10, a double-digit deficit or a two-possession game, 10 to 14 points, Lamar Jackson is shaking in his boots. Now, look, you can say, well, Tennessee, they have the formula to beat them. They held that offense to only 13 points because they took away all the running lanes for Jackson and forced him to throw out of the pocket and force him around the middle. If you can formulate that into a great plan for the Patriots, all bets are off. You have a chance to beat Lamar Jackson. You have a chance to beat him like that. Now, if you don't, you let Lamar Jackson run all over you like you did last year in Baltimore, the game's going to be over by the half. And then that makes the Patriots' road to the playoffs much more difficult because then the Patriots are going to have to win out. The Patriots are absolutely definitely going to have to win out here. And that's tough because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to bring in my trusty source for getting playoff mathematicians correct, the NFL playoff machine. I use that every year to determine a team's route to the postseason, whether it is logical or not. If there's a will, there's a way. And there's a way that the Patriots can still get to the playoffs at 10-6 or 9-7. Anything less than 9-7, forget about it. If we sit here 3 weeks from now, the Patriots are 3 or 2 or 3 weeks from now, the Patriots are either 3-8 or 4-7. It's over. It's going to be over. Now, 3 weeks from now, if the Patriots are sitting nice and firm at either 5-5 or 6-5, then you got a legitimate shot. Then you can afford a loss to, say, maybe a Dolphins or a Bills or even the Rams. The Rams and Bills more so. I'm not convinced with the Dolphins yet. The Jets blow. The Texans are bad. The Cardinals, I'm not sold on them yet either. The Chargers, you know how bad they are. They can't hold a lead. So the rest of the Patriots' schedule after this game is somewhat favorable to them. A lot of winnable games. And you can toss in the Bills as a winnable game. You nearly beat them a couple of weeks ago in Buffalo. Any team is beatable any given day, any given week. So for the Patriots, that's one thing you really got to focus on. All right. Do not miss the political dope with Uncle Felix that goes every single week. You can catch Felix every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on all SFBNRI platforms. But when we come back, it's my favorite segment. I hope it's your favorite segment. Nick's Picks. That is coming right up. You are listening to TitleTown Throwdown on all SFBNRI platforms. Well, so here we made it to the end of the program, and it is Nick's Picks, always here on all SFBNRI platforms. Bottom of the screen, you see the list of games that are going on this week, teams that are on a bye. It is the Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, and Falcons. So can't make fun of the Jets, Falcons, or the Cowboys from the next week, unfortunately, because they do not play. The Chiefs, if you make fun of the Chiefs, well, then you're an idiot. Anyway, on to the games. Thursday Night Football that's about to kick off in just about a little over a half an hour or so. We got the Indianapolis Colts, who are 5-3, against the Tennessee Titans, who are 6-2. The Titans lead the AFC South by a game over the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to be a great showdown, great game. I am going to give it to the Tennessee Titans in this one. I think the Titans really start to solidify themselves as the team to beat in the AFC South and a legitimate contender in the AFC. So Titans improved to 7-2, and the Colts fall to 5-4. All right, an NFC East showdown. We got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Football Giants. Giants coming off yet another win against the Washington Football Team. And little fun fact about Daniel Jones: 5 career wins, 4 of them against Washington. Not good. All right, the Eagles, they've won 8 straight games over the Giants. I think that trend will continue. I got the Eagles getting to 500. I don't think you would have heard that at all at any point for an MC's team. Getting to 500. Eagles go to 4-1. Giants fall to 2-8, and essentially, mathematically, eliminates them from playoff contention. We got the 1-7 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 6-2 Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is 7-6 all time against the AFC South. This is a type of trap game for the Patriots a little bit because the Jaguars, they don't really have much to play for, if anything at all. Patriots, they got a lot riding on this. The Vikings are playing better football right now. They could creep up on them. Lions are playing decently. The Bears playing decently. But I'm not giving it to the Patriots, though. Jags will make the game, and I'm still giving it to the Patriots. Jags fall to 1-8. Patriots improved to 7-2. Jaguars mathematically out. The 2-6 Washington football team taking on the 3-5 Detroit Lions. Alex Smith is the new starting quarterback once again for Washington after Kyle Allen went down with a Dak Prescott-like injury prior to Kyle Allen. But Alex Smith, he is 5-0 career-wise against the Lions. That may bode well. Detroit, they've lost 7 consecutive home games. I hate to see trends continue, but I think that's going to continue. Washington over Detroit. Washington goes to 3-6, and the Lions fall to 3-6. All right, the 2-6 Texans taking on the 5-3 Browns. The Browns playing decent football all season long. And the Texans still trying to find their footing a little bit. Still playing for next year, but still want to compete. But I think the Browns take this one. Browns improved to 6-3, improve their playoff chances, and the Texans fall to 2-7, really making it even more difficult for them to try to make a run. The 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the 3-6 Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay has allowed the fewest rushing yards per game in the NFL at 77.9. That might be beneficial to them because Christian McCaffrey is doubtful for this game against the Buccaneers. For the Panthers, Brady and the Bucs looking to rebound after getting their brains absolutely creamed into them by the New Orleans Saints on Sunday Night Football. I say the Bucs rebound here. Brady in the game go to 7-3. Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers fall to 3-7. The 2-6 Chargers take on the 5-3 Dolphins. It is a battle of rookie QBs Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa. I am gonna go with the Miami Dolphins here in this one. I won't count out the Chargers, but the Chargers, if they can't hold a lead in the fourth quarter, they found another way to yet blow another lead last week against the Raiders. So, yep. Dolphins go to 6-3. Chargers fall to 2-7. All right. 3-5 Broncos take on the 5-3 Raiders. Denver's won 12 of the last 17 games against the Raiders. I still like the Raiders in this one. I think they're a better organized team. Drew Lock, I still think he looks a little shaky in there. But anyway, though, I don't know. The Raiders improved to 6-3. Broncos fall to 3-6. This is gonna be a sneaky good game. The 7-2 Buffalo Bills taking on the 5-3 Arizona Cardinals. Buffalo's won 6 of the last 7 games against Arizona. Arizona, they playing really, really well. Tough, hard loss to the Dolphins last week. I think they can rebound. And Josh Allen and the Bills, they looked great on offense last week against the Seahawks, putting up 44 points. Defense gave up 34. So it's going to be, you don't know what you're going to get from the Bills here. The offense isn't good or the defense isn't good. That should work to Arizona's advantage. I'm going to go Arizona in this one. Cardinals go to 6-3. Bills fall to 7-3. And the Dolphins become a half game out of first place. The 4-5 San Francisco Giants take on the 6-2 New Orleans Saints. New Orleans has not allowed a 100-yard rusher in the 46 consecutive games. I believe that is including postseason. And the Niners, just how banged up they are, I don't see this being much of a game. Saints go to 7-2. Niners fall to 4-6. This is going to be a really great game between two opponent NFC West rivals. The 6-2 Seahawks take on the 6-3 Rams. By the end of the day, either one team extends their lead or the other team becomes tied and holds the tiebreak currently. The Rams have won 4 of the last 5 games against the Seahawks. Seahawks looking for a much better defensive effort last week than they did against the Bills, and maybe less interceptions for Russell Wilson. I don't know the Seahawks in this one. They get back on the right track. They go to 7-2. Rams fall to 5-3. All right. The 2-5-1 Bengals take on the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers have won 9 straight games since the Bengals. This is my upset of the week. I then go the Bengals over the Steelers. Steelers fall from the undefeated ranks, and the 1972 Dolphins can raise another champagne glass as another team will not finish undefeated. Bengals go to 3-6-1 on the season. Joe Burrow, he continues to have a phenomenal rookie season. All right, Sunday Night Football. It is the Ravens and the Patriots. We talked about this. I am concerned for the Patriots on offense and on defense, but the Ravens offensively haven't looked that great. They did look great Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, although their defense played shut down. Lamar Jackson has 25 wins in his first 30 starts, tied for most in the Super Bowl era. Now, has Lamar Jackson always played well in those 25 wins? No. But he got hit. But he had either played well via the defense, or in his 5 career losses, he played well, but the defense didn't play well. So, end of the day, Ravens are 25-5 with Lamar Jackson as the starting quarterback. Patriots are 3-5. They're looking for some momentum. They got it last week. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Ravens go to 7-2. Patriots fall to 3-6, and the road to the playoffs will become much more difficult. All right, Monday Night Football. This is going to be a great one. The 3-5 Minnesota Vikings take on the 5-4 Chicago Bears. Kirk Cousins as a starting quarterback between both the Washington football team and the Minnesota Vikings. He is 0-9 career-wise. So teams that Kirk Cousins has started on are 0-9 all-time on Monday Night Football. However, though, the Vikings are catching the Bears at a great time because the Bears, since Nick Foles took over, are 2-4 in their last 6 games. So maybe a change to Mitchell Trubisky halfway through this game could happen. Watch out for it. I doubt it. But I say Kirk Cousins finally gets his first career Monday Night Football win. The Vikings improved to 4-5. The Bears fall to 500 at 5-5. And that makes the NFC wildcard picture even more of a mess. But hey, when it comes to the playoffs and the playoff picture, we like messes. I like messes. All right. MMA Complete with Zach Drapo is on its way. That happens every Thursday night right after TitleTown Throwdown. You can catch it on all SFB and RI platforms. But for now, little program note. Individually, I will talk to you on Thursday, but next time you see me, I'll be on Saturday with Matt Julius on Sports World Weekly. You can catch that every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and I'll be joining Matt live 6 feet away, but live and in person for a great show. But anyway, thank you for joining me on TitleTown Throwdown, and we will see you next week. Have a fantastic week.